The stars stretched endlessly across the black sky, a sea of light that made the small human ship seem almost invisible. Inside the sleek metallic vessel, Captain Marcus Hale sat quietly in his pilot's chair, his hands resting lightly on the controls. He had seen a lot in his life: battlefields on Earth, peacekeeping missions on human colonies, and even encounters with minor alien species. But nothing had prepared him for the Zalari Empire. The Zalari were enormous, elegant beings. Their skin shimmered in colors humans could barely name, and their eyes glowed faintly like jewels. Their cities floated in the sky, connected by bridges of light and energy. Their technology was advanced beyond human imagination. Yet somehow, the Zalari carried themselves like royalty, always calm, always certain. Marcus had not come as a conqueror. He had not come as a spy. He had come as a soldier, and as a representative of humanity, to show the Zalari that humans were worthy of respect. When the ship landed, the doors opened with a soft hiss. The air outside smelled faintly of ozone and sweet alien flowers. Waiting on the platform was a delegation of Zalari officials, their tall forms framed by the glowing cityscape behind them. And standing at the front with a mischievous spark in her eyes was Princess Lysera. Lysera's presence was impossible to ignore. Her hair flowed like liquid silver and her eyes glimmered like twin suns. She wore a robe of shimmering blue that seemed to change shades as she moved. But it was not her beauty that struck Marcus. It was the way she carried herself with confidence and curiosity, as if the human before her were a puzzle she intended to solve. "Welcome to Zalara," she said, her voice musical but teasing. "I have heard about humans. Small, fragile, but clever, and yes." Marcus gave a polite bow, keeping his expression neutral. "Captain Marcus Hale, representing the United Earth Alliance. It is an honor to meet you, Princess Lysera." Lysera tilted her head, studying him. "Captain Hale," she said slowly, almost tasting the words. "I will make a little game for you if you like. A game of riddles. Do you accept?" Marcus raised an eyebrow. "I do. But I warn you, I rarely lose." Her laughter rang like chimes in the wind. "We shall see, little human." Before Marcus could reply, the Empress, Lysera's mother, appeared behind her daughter. Empress Zalara was a sight to behold. Tall, regal, her skin a deep violet and her presence commanding. She wore a crown of crystal light and a robe that glowed like molten gold. Her eyes locked on Marcus for a long moment. "Lysera," the Empress said, her tone sharp. "Control yourself. You are testing a guest." Lysera bowed slightly, but only as much as she wanted. "Mother, I am only on a curious. He seems amusing." Empress Zalara's gaze moved to Marcus. "And you, human, you carry yourself with confidence. Do not think your small size means you are insignificant here." Marcus nodded. "I do not, Your Majesty." The Empress's lips pressed into a thin line. She clearly had not expected this human to speak without fear. "We will see," she said. "The day will tell." The delegation led Marcus and his small human team through the city, past towers of gleaming metal and bridges of light. Citizens of the Zalari Empire paused to watch the humans, whispering among themselves. Marcus could feel their curiosity, their surprise, and in some cases their doubt. Humans were unknown here. Most aliens thought humans were weak, short-lived, and primitive. Marcus smiled inwardly. They were about to learn otherwise. Lysera walked beside Marcus, her hands clasped behind her back. "Tell me," she said, leaning close, "and how do you fight, human? With strength? With weapons? Or with cleverness?" Marcus chuckled softly. "All three when necessary. But cleverness often wins when strength fails." She grinned, her silver hair catching the light. "We shall see if your cleverness works here." The humans were escorted to a ceremonial hall, a vast space of crystal and light. The floor was polished, reflecting the radiant sky above. Zalari nobles stood on either side, silent and imposing. Marcus could feel their scrutiny. Every movement, every gesture, every word mattered. One wrong step could offend them all. Lysera floated ahead of Marcus, moving gracefully, and then suddenly stopped. "Captain Hale," she said, turning to him with a sly smile. "I have a question. Can you keep your composure if I say something shocking?" Marcus looked at her calmly. "Try me." She leaned closer. "I think humans are amusing. So small, so fragile. And yet here you are, standing without fear." Marcus smiled. "You are correct. We are small, but we survive. Lysera's laughter was bright. I like that. You are bold, almost foolishly so. The Empress's sharp voice cut through the hall. Lysera, enough games. Kneel before our guest as a sign of respect. Lysera froze, a spark of rebellion in her eyes. Mother, she began, but Marcus stepped forward, holding up a hand. Your Highness, he said politely. I am honored, but I cannot demand gestures. Mutual respect is earned, not forced. The room fell silent. The Zalari nobles whispered nervously. This human spoke with confidence in a way no alien had dared to do. Lysera blinked, clearly impressed. Empress Zalara's eyes narrowed, but Marcus's calm composure did not waver. Captain, she said, you will face our customs and our tests. Only then will we see if your people are worthy of trust. Marcus inclined his head. I understand, Your Majesty. We come in peace and with respect. We are ready. Lysera smiled again, a little less teasing, a little more intrigued. You will be interesting, she murmured, almost to herself. The humans were guided to a guest chamber, a luxurious room of floating lights and soft iridescent colors. Marcus sat and observed quietly, noting everything. The layout, the technology, even the subtle energy patterns in the room. Humans were small, but their minds were adaptable. Observation was often more powerful than sheer strength. Lysera appeared at the door again, peeking in. Do you sleep, human? Or do you think even while resting? Marcus looked up. Humans think constantly. Even in sleep we dream. Even in stillness we prepare. She laughed softly. I like that. So different from my people. So stubborn. As night fell, the city of Zalara glimmered beneath two moons. Marcus stood on a balcony looking at the vast alien world. He was a stranger in this place, yet he felt no fear. Curiosity, yes. Caution, yes, but fear? No. Humans had faced countless dangers before, from the frozen deserts of Mars to pirate fleets in the outer colonies. This, he thought, was just another challenge. And in the distance, Lysera watched him silently, a mischievous glint in her eye. She was teasing, yes, but she was also curious. And curiosity, Marcus knew, could turn into respect. The first night in Zalara passed, and the humans slept little. There was too much to observe, too much to learn. And the next day promised trials, tests, and challenges designed to test the limits of human ingenuity and courage. Marcus knew one thing for certain. He would not falter. Humans were underestimated, yes, often dismissed as fragile or weak. But history had shown time and again, when humans faced impossible odds, they adapted, they endured, and they often surprised the universe itself. The sun rose over Zalara like a golden jewel suspended in the sky. The floating towers glimmered, their metal surfaces reflecting the light, and the bridges of energy connecting them pulsed faintly as the city awakened. Captain Marcus Hale stood on the balcony of the guest chamber, stretching his arms and surveying the alien metropolis. His human team moved around the chamber, quietly preparing for the day ahead, whispering in awe at the alien technology surrounding them. He had slept little, though he would not admit it. Observation, he knew, was crucial. Humans were small, yes, and fragile by Zalari standards, but what they lacked in size they made up for in courage, cleverness, and determination. And Marcus intended to prove that every step of the way. The door slid open silently, and Princess Lysera floated in, her silver hair glinting in the morning light. She wore a robe of soft green, shimmering like the leaves of some alien tree. Her eyes, bright and curious, were fixed on Marcus. Good morning, little human, she said, her tone playful. Did you sleep well? Or were you dreaming about how to impress me? Marcus smiled, keeping his composure. I slept as much as humans need, and my mind was awake, observing the city and its people. Impressions can wait. Lysera laughed, a sound that seemed to echo like music in the chamber. I like that. Bold and clever. Exactly what my mother will not expect. At that moment, a soft chime rang throughout the chamber. The Empress's voice filled the room, calm yet commanding. Captain Hale, Princess Lysera, you will join me in the central hall. The first challenge begins now. Marcus inclined his head respectfully. Understood, Your Majesty. The two of them walked together through the city. Marcus noticed how the Zalari citizens paused to stare at the human. There was curiosity in their eyes, yes, but also surprise. Marcus noticed the whispers, so small yet so confident, so composed. He smiled quietly to himself. Humans often left impressions without even trying. The central hall was vast, a palace of crystalline light and floating platforms. Zilari nobles lined the walls, silent and imposing. At the far end, Empress Zilara awaited, her presence radiating power and authority. Beside her stood a pedestal, glowing with alien symbols that Marcus did not understand. "Today," the Empress began, her voice like polished metal, "you will face your first challenge, human. A challenge not of brute force, but of mind, courage, and honor." Marcus nodded. "I am ready, Your Majesty." Lysera stepped beside him, a mischievous grin tugging at her lips. "Mind, courage, honor. Those are all words humans love, yes? Let us see if you live up to them." The Empress gestured to the pedestal and a holographic projection appeared above it. It showed a maze, intricate and twisting with multiple paths, traps, and hidden dangers. "This," said the Empress, "is the Labyrinth of Zilara. You must navigate it. Retrieve the crystal of light at its center and return it here safely. You will have no weapons. You will rely only on your wits and your courage. Fail and, well, you will disappoint us all." Marcus studied the maze, noting its complexity. It was vast, and many sections seemed impossible to traverse. But humans had a history of overcoming impossible odds. He looked at Lysera, who raised an eyebrow, clearly intrigued. "Do you accept this challenge?" the Empress asked. "I do," Marcus replied firmly. "Humans are known for solving impossible puzzles. I intend to prove it today." Lysera's grin widened. "I like him. He is not afraid even when facing something meant to test him beyond his limits. Humans are interesting." Marcus approached the maze entrance. The walls shimmered like liquid, constantly shifting. Every step could lead to a dead end or worse. He took a deep breath. Focus, he thought. Humans survived because they never gave up, no matter the danger. The labyrinth was unlike anything Marcus had faced. Paths shifted beneath his feet. Strange creatures roamed silently and the air seemed to hum with alien energy. Marcus relied on observation, reasoning, and intuition to navigate. At every turn he found traps, some physical, some mental. A section of the floor suddenly became transparent, revealing a bottomless pit. Marcus stopped, studying it carefully. He saw faint patterns in the energy currents above the pit. With careful jumps and precise timing, he crossed safely. Lysera, who had followed silently, clapped softly. "You are careful," she said. "Humans think fast but also feel danger." "Clever," Marcus smiled. "Experience, observation, and yes, instinct." Deeper into the maze, the challenges became more complex. Strange creatures blocked the path, their forms shifting in ways that defied logic. Marcus did not panic. He studied them, noting patterns in their movements, then moved with precision, slipping past them without harm. Lysera floated beside him, sometimes helping, sometimes teasing. "Do you always think this carefully, human?" she asked. "Or only when the stakes are high?" "Always," Marcus replied. "A soldier is never unprepared. And humans survive because we anticipate, adapt, and act." The princess's eyes gleamed. She had never seen someone so small handle such danger with such calm, and yet she could feel the excitement building. Humans were unpredictable, that was thrilling. Finally, they reached the center of the maze. A pedestal rose from the ground, glowing with bright light holding the crystal of light. Marcus approached it cautiously. The crystal pulsed with energy, and the air around it shimmered. He reached out and touched it. Immediately, the maze began to shift violently, as if resisting the theft of its treasure. "Careful," Lysera warned, though her voice carried awe. "It reacts to your presence," Marcus gritted his teeth. Humans thrived under pressure. He focused, thinking quickly, and found the pattern in the energy shifts. With careful timing, he maneuvered the crystal and began the return journey. Every step was tense. Sections of the maze shifted, walls closed in, and strange creatures lunged at them. But Marcus remained calm, guiding Lysera and himself with precision. The princess was clearly impressed. At last they emerged from the labyrinth, the crystal of light intact. The Empress's eyes widened, then narrowed thoughtfully. The human had passed where many Zilari warriors might have failed. Marcus handed the crystal to the Empress with respect. "Challenge complete, Your Majesty." The hall erupted in whispers. Zilari nobles murmured among themselves. The humans were small, yes, but they had done what many thought impossible. The human soldier had proven himself with courage, intelligence, and composure. Empress Zilara's gaze softened slightly. "Remarkable," she said. "You have passed the first trial, human. You show qualities that even some of my people lack: calm under pressure, cleverness, and courage." Lysera floated closer to Marcus, a playful smile on her face. You are more than I expected. I almost enjoyed watching you struggle. Marcus chuckled. Almost? Lysera laughed, the sound like tinkling bells. Yes, almost. But you survived, so I will let you have this victory. The Empress's voice was sharp again. Do not grow complacent. This is only the beginning. The true test of a human's worth is not in puzzles or mazes. It is in courage, loyalty, and honor when the stakes are highest. We shall see if your species is truly worthy of respect. Marcus inclined his head. I understand. Humans do not fear challenges. We meet them head-on and adapt. That is how we survive. Lysera looked at him with admiration, though she would never admit it aloud. Perhaps humans are more interesting than I thought, perhaps even dangerous. As they left the hall, Marcus glanced around the city. He could feel the eyes of the Zalari on him, curious, cautious, sometimes skeptical. But one thing was clear, humans were noticed here. They were small, yes, but they had a presence that could not be ignored. The first challenge had been completed. The maze had tested Marcus's mind, his courage, and his composure, and he had triumphed. But he knew the Empress's words were true. This was only the beginning. Greater trials awaited, challenges that would test the limits of human endurance. Cunning and honor, and Princess Lysera, still beside him, watched him with a mixture of mischief, admiration, and curiosity. She would continue to tease, yes, but now, a seed of respect had been planted. The human soldier had proven that size was no measure of strength, that courage and cleverness mattered more than brute force. And the Zalari Empire, for the first time, was beginning to understand that humans were not to be dismissed. Marcus smiled quietly. Humans always found a way, and this alien world was about to learn that the human spirit was a force even the stars had to reckon with. The challenges ahead would be harder. The tests would grow fiercer, but Marcus Hale was ready, because humans survived not just through strength but through determination, ingenuity, and courage. And in that, they were often unbeatable. The sun hung high over Zalara, bathing the floating city in brilliant light. Captain Marcus Hale stood on a wide observation platform, looking out over the shimmering towers and glowing bridges. After the Labyrinth challenge, he had earned the respect of some Zalari nobles, but he also knew the true tests were only beginning. The Empress had made it clear, puzzles were one thing, but true courage, resourcefulness, and honor would determine whether humans were worthy allies. Beside him floated Princess Lysera, her silver hair glinting in the sunlight. She looked more serious than usual, her eyes narrowing as she studied him. You did well yesterday, she said. Better than I expected. Marcus inclined his head politely. Thank you, Princess, but I assume the next challenge will be harder. Lysera's lips curled into a mischievous smile. Harder, perhaps, or perhaps more dangerous. The Empress's voice suddenly echoed across the platform, clear and commanding. Captain Hale, Princess Lysera, come forward. Today you will face the trials of Zalara. Unlike yesterday's labyrinth, these trials will test your judgment, courage, and adaptability. Failure is not an option. Marcus stepped forward, his posture calm, while Lysera floated at his side, eyes sparkling with curiosity. They entered a large arena, a vast space filled with floating platforms, shifting walls, and strange energy fields. Holographic projections of dangerous landscapes appeared. Lava flows, spinning blades, shifting stone pillars, and deep chasms. The first trial, the Empress announced, is one of survival. You must cross this arena, reach the far end, and retrieve the Orb of Insight without harm. You will face obstacles designed to challenge even the finest Zalari warriors. Marcus studied the arena carefully. He noticed patterns in the energy flows, timing in the moving obstacles, and the behavior of holographic creatures that prowled the space. Unlike the labyrinth, this trial was dynamic. It would respond to his decisions and actions. Lysera leaned close, her eyes glinting. Do you think you can do it, little human? Marcus smiled faintly. I think humans are capable of much more than they are given credit for. Lysera tilted her head. Bold words. Let us see if you can prove them. The trial began. Platforms shifted beneath Marcus's feet. Walls closed and opened unpredictably, and holographic beasts lunged at him, yet he moved calmly, carefully calculating each step. He dodged attacks, timed jumps precisely, and used his human intuition to find paths where none seemed possible. Lysera watched, fascinated. She had seen warriors of her own kind struggle with these challenges, yet this human moved with steady precision. His small size did not matter. His mind and courage were his greatest weapons. One section of the arena forced Marcus to navigate a series of floating stones suspended over a deep chasm. Each stone tilted under weight, some crumbling if stepped on. Marcus paused, observing carefully. He jumped lightly, maintaining balance, and used his momentum to cross. When he reached the other side, Lysra clapped softly. "You are careful. And clever," she said. "Humans are unpredictable, yes?" Marcus nodded. "Observation, timing, and adaptability. Humans survive because we learn quickly and act decisively." The next section presented spinning blades cutting across a narrow corridor. Marcus timed his movements, ducking, rolling, and weaving between them. Every muscle worked in harmony, his mind predicting the exact path he needed to take. Lysra floated closer, her eyes wide. "You move as if the danger is nothing. Do humans always act so fearlessly?" Marcus glanced at her. "Fear is natural. Humans feel it, but courage is acting despite fear." Lysra's expression softened slightly, a mix of admiration and curiosity. She had teased him before, but now she could see the discipline, resilience, and calm that defined him. This was no ordinary human. This was someone who embodied the qualities her people respected. Finally, Marcus reached the Orb of Insight, a glowing sphere floating above a pedestal in the center of a swirling energy vortex. As he approached, the arena shifted violently, testing his balance and focus. Marcus breathed steadily, observing the patterns in the energy currents. With careful timing, he reached the pedestal and secured the orb. Suddenly, the arena began collapsing around him. Platforms fell, walls shifted, and holographic creatures lunged. Marcus didn't panic. He adjusted, leaped, and navigated the chaos with precision, bringing the Orb of Insight safely to the far end. The Empress's eyes narrowed thoughtfully. "Remarkable," she said. "Humans may be small, but they are capable of remarkable ingenuity and courage. Captain Hale, you have passed the trial of survival." Lysra floated beside him, clearly impressed. "You are more than I expected." "Perhaps humans are cleverer than we thought." Marcus gave a small bow. "Thank you, Princess. I only act as humans always do, adapt, survive, and persevere." The Empress gestured, and the arena shifted to a new challenge. "Next is the trial of judgment. You will face a moral dilemma designed to test your wisdom and loyalty. Your actions will be observed, and they will define the worth of your species in the eyes of the Zalari." Marcus stepped forward. The trial presented a scenario. A group of Zalari citizens trapped in a collapsing structure. They could be saved, but doing so would place him in extreme danger and might fail. Marcus quickly analyzed the situation. Humans valued life and honor, even at great risk. He acted decisively, devising a clever plan to stabilize part of the structure, using his surroundings, and leading the citizens to safety. His small team assisted, improvising tools from what little they had. Lysra observed closely, clearly moved by his bravery and ingenuity. When the citizens were safe, the Empress's gaze softened slightly. "Humans are not only clever," she said. "They possess honor and courage. They are willing to risk themselves for others. Few species demonstrate this so naturally." Lysra floated closer to Marcus. "You are extraordinary, little human. I almost envy your courage." Marcus shook his head. "I am no different from other humans. We survive because we act with purpose, intelligence, and respect for life." The final trial of the day was one of teamwork. Marcus and Lysra were challenged to navigate a treacherous canyon, using only communication, wit, and coordination. The canyon was filled with shifting platforms, dangerous currents, and unpredictable obstacles. Marcus relied on clear observation and precise commands, while Lysra, impressed, followed his lead. Together they moved seamlessly, demonstrating that humans could inspire cooperation even with an alien partner. When they reached the end, the Empress's expression was unreadable for a moment, then she nodded slowly.
"Captain Hale, you have demonstrated courage, intelligence, and honor."
"You have shown that humans are capable of greatness. Lysra, you may have doubted them before, but you see now their worth." Lysra smiled, a rare softness in her expression. "I see, Mother. Humans are remarkable, and perhaps one day they may surprise even us further." Marcus inclined his head respectfully. "We only seek to prove our worth. Humans thrive on challenge, on overcoming obstacles, and on learning from every trial. The Empress's gaze softened slightly. Very well. You have passed the trials of today. But remember, Captain, your greatest challenges are yet to come. True courage and ingenuity are revealed when survival, honor, and loyalty are tested all at once. Lysera hovered close, her eyes fixed on Marcus. You are clever, brave, and persistent. I will not deny it. Humans may be small, but they have a spirit unlike any other. Perhaps I have underestimated your kind. Marcus allowed himself a small smile. We humans are often underestimated, but that does not stop us from achieving what others think impossible. As they left the arena, the Zalari nobles whispered among themselves. Humans were small, yes, but they had something the aliens could not ignore: determination, ingenuity, and courage. And Marcus Hale had proven that humans were not only capable but worthy of respect. Lysera walked beside him, her playful teasing softened by curiosity and admiration. I will watch you, little human, she said, and I will see what other surprises your kind may bring. Marcus looked out over the city, his mind already considering the challenges ahead. Humans thrived under pressure, adapted to danger, and overcame obstacles with courage and ingenuity. The Zalari Empire might be vast and powerful, but humans had a way of standing out, even in a universe full of stars. And for the first time, Marcus realized that his bond with Lysera could become something more than curiosity. It could be the beginning of trust, respect, and perhaps friendship between their worlds. The trials of today were complete. Marcus had survived, adapted, and impressed even the most skeptical of the Zalari. But he knew the Empress was right. The greatest tests were still to come. And humans, he thought with quiet confidence, were ready. The galaxy had yet to see what humans were truly capable of, and Marcus Hale was determined that they would not soon forget it. The city of Zalara shimmered under the light of 2 moons, a breathtaking display of floating towers, glowing bridges, and cascading streams of energy. Captain Marcus Hale had spent several days in the capital, earning the cautious respect of the Zalari nobles and the growing admiration of Princess Lysera. Yet Marcus knew that respect was fragile in this alien world. True trials revealed themselves not through games or puzzles, but through real danger. That danger arrived sooner than expected. A sudden alarm blared throughout the city, its vibrations echoing through the floating towers. Marcus and Lysera rushed to the observation platform to see a fleet of rogue ships approaching, their sleek shapes dark against the starlit sky. The ships fired beams that tore through energy barriers, targeting the heart of the capital. The Empress appeared beside them, her eyes wide with alarm. Captain Hale, this is no test, she said sharply. A faction of rebels armed with stolen technology intends to destroy our city. Zalara has never faced such a threat. Marcus's gaze narrowed. Humans thrived under pressure, and this was a situation that demanded quick thinking. Princess Lysera, he said, we need a plan to protect your city and your people. Can we access your defense systems? Lysera's expression hardened. Yes, but only if you can work with me. I've studied the city's systems, but we must act quickly. Time is short. Marcus nodded. Then let's begin. Humans excel at improvising under pressure, and we will find a way. The 2 of them raced through corridors of glowing energy, reaching a command hub where holographic screens displayed the incoming threat. Marcus immediately began analyzing the attackers' patterns. Their weapons were advanced, faster and more precise than most humans had seen, but Marcus noticed a small flaw. Their ships moved in predictable formations. Lysera, if we can manipulate the energy barriers, he said, pointing at the holograms, we can channel their attacks away from the city's core. Then we can use their formation against them. Lysera nodded, clearly impressed. You think like a strategist, human. Very well. Activate the channels and I'll redirect the energy flow. Together they worked seamlessly. Marcus suggested adjustments to the barrier frequencies, using human ingenuity to exploit weaknesses in the rebel fleet. Lysera, following his directions, moved with precision, guiding energy currents to strike the enemy ships at their most vulnerable points. The first wave of attacks struck. Beams ricocheted harmlessly off redirected energy fields, while rebel ships faltered as their formation broke. Marcus seized the opportunity. We can use their momentum, he said. Channel the remaining energy to push them into the outer void. It will stop the attack without destroying their ships. Lysera's eyes widened. Brilliant, humans. You truly think differently. The plan worked. The rebels were forced out of the city's orbit, their ships scattered and harmless. Solara was safe for the moment. Citizens emerged from their homes, cheering as energy barriers stabilized and lights returned to normal. Marcus looked around, seeing the amazement in the faces of the Zalari nobles. Small, unarmed humans had just saved the city through courage and intelligence. The Empress approached, her expression unreadable. "Captain Hale," she said, her tone softer than before, "your actions have prevented disaster. You have proven humans are more than capable. Perhaps your species has a place among us after all." Lysera floated beside Marcus, her usual teasing replaced by genuine admiration. "I underestimated you," she admitted. "Not just your courage, but your mind. Humans are remarkable." Marcus shook his head. "We only act as humans always do. We survive by thinking, adapting, and working together." The Empress's gaze softened slightly. "Indeed. Courage and intelligence together make for powerful allies. Lysera, you have witnessed it firsthand. I trust you now see the value of humans beyond mere curiosity." Lysera smiled faintly. "Yes, Mother. Humans are surprising. And Captain Hale, I respect you more than I ever expected." That evening, Marcus and Lysera walked together along a suspended bridge, looking out over the city as the two moons cast a silver glow. The danger had passed, but the bond between human and princess had strengthened. Lysera, for the first time, allowed herself to ask questions without teasing. "Tell me," she said quietly, "how do humans survive against such overwhelming odds? You are so small, yet you face enemies that could crush you easily." Marcus considered her question. "Humans survive because we do not give up. We adapt, we learn, and we act with courage. Strength is not always measured in size or power. Sometimes it is measured in spirit, determination, and the willingness to face danger for what is right." Lysera's eyes glimmered. "And yet, your species is fearless, brave even when facing almost certain death, that is, unlike anything I have seen in my people." Marcus smiled. "We have to be. Our survival depends on it. And sometimes the smallest can make the biggest difference." The bridge swayed slightly in the evening breeze, and Lysera laughed softly. "Perhaps humans are not so small after all. Perhaps you are giants in ways my people do not understand." The following days saw humans and Zalari working together to strengthen the city's defenses. Marcus trained the Zalari soldiers in new tactics, combining human improvisation with alien technology. The soldiers were initially skeptical, but they quickly realized that the humans' methods were effective, often succeeding where traditional Zalari strategies might fail. Lysera observed Marcus closely, noting his patience, calm under pressure, and ability to inspire others. She had teased him before, but now she found herself admiring his mind and courage. Humans, she realized, had a resilience that was rare even among the Zalari. One evening, the Empress called Marcus to the palace. "Captain Hale," she said, her tone formal but approving, "you have proven your worth. You saved my city, guided my people, and demonstrated qualities that are rare even among the Zalari. I acknowledge that humans are extraordinary." Marcus bowed respectfully. "Thank you, Your Majesty. Humans seek to prove themselves through action, courage, and honor. We do not ask for praise, we earn it through deeds." The Empress nodded. "Indeed, your actions have begun to change perceptions. Lysera, you have seen this with your own eyes. Humans are not mere curiosities. They are capable allies, perhaps even friends." Lysera smiled, her teasing replaced by genuine respect. "Yes, Mother. I see now humans are remarkable. And Captain Hale, I trust him." Marcus's gaze met hers, and for the first time he felt a connection deeper than curiosity or duty. In a world of towering aliens and advanced technology, humans had earned their place not by fear but by courage, ingenuity, and determination. The crisis had forged a bond between human and princess, between species and between worlds. Marcus knew that the future would hold greater challenges, but he also knew that humans had a unique strength that could never be ignored. As the city of Zalara settled into calm, Marcus and Lysera walked along the glowing bridges, their minds aligned with plans for the future. Humans had proven themselves, but more importantly, they had built trust and respect with the Zalari. The stars above twinkled like a promise, and Marcus felt the thrill of possibility. The galaxy was vast, full of dangers and wonders, but humans had a way of standing out, and wherever they went, they carried courage, ingenuity, and the spirit to survive and thrive. Lysera looked at Marcus with a hint of mischief in her eyes. You are clever, brave, and persistent, little human. I will not deny it, perhaps. I have underestimated your kind. Marcus smiled quietly. We humans are often underestimated. But that does not stop us from achieving the impossible. The night ended with a quiet sense of triumph. Humans had saved an alien city, earned respect, and forged bonds that would last far beyond a single encounter. Marcus knew the greatest challenges were yet to come, but he also knew that humans would meet them, head-on with courage, intelligence, and honor. The capital of Zalara glimmered under the light of 1,000 stars. After the recent crisis, the city had begun to rebuild, its floating towers restored, energy bridges stabilized, and citizens cautiously returning to their daily lives. Yet amidst the calm, the presence of humans in the city had shifted something profound. Where once Zalari saw humans as small and fragile, they now saw courage, ingenuity, and determination reflected in every action of Captain Marcus Hale. The Empress, Zalara, stood at the Grand Plaza, a place of crystal floors and radiant pillars, awaiting the public ceremony to honor those who had defended the city. She wore her robes of molten gold, and her gaze swept across the gathered citizens and nobles. At her side floated Princess Lizera, her silver hair catching the light, her expression a mixture of pride and curiosity. Marcus and his human team arrived, standing with measured composure. They were small among the towering aliens, yes, but they carried themselves with the quiet confidence of those who had faced impossible odds, and won. The plaza was silent as all eyes turned toward them. The Empress's voice rang clear and commanding. Citizens of Zalara, today we honor bravery, ingenuity, and loyalty. These qualities have been demonstrated not only by our people, but by an unexpected ally from the stars, the humans. A murmur ran through the crowd. Humans? The small, fragile creatures that had arrived weeks ago now being recognized publicly? Some Zalari whispered doubts, but the majority watched with amazement. Lysera stepped forward, her eyes locking on Marcus. Captain Hale, she said, her voice carrying clearly across the plaza. You have not only survived our trials, you have saved our city, taught our warriors, and shown that courage and intelligence matter more than size or strength. I too have been wrong about humans. You are remarkable. Marcus inclined his head respectfully. Thank you, Princess Lysera. Humans do not seek praise. We act with courage and integrity because it is who we are. We survive, we adapt, and we protect those who cannot protect themselves. The Empress raised her hand. Captain Hale and the humans who came with him, I formally recognize you as allies of the Zalari Empire. You have earned our respect, trust, and friendship. Let it be known across the stars that humans are capable, brave, and honorable, worthy of recognition in the galaxy. The crowd erupted in cheers. Citizens and nobles alike clapped, floated closer, and expressed admiration. Even those who had doubted humans' abilities now looked at them with new eyes. Marcus felt the pride of his species reflected in the astonished and grateful expressions of the Zalari. Humans were small, yes, but the heart of a human, the spirit of determination and courage could move mountains, topple odds, and change perceptions. Lysera floated closer, her usual teasing smile returning, though softer now. You have proven yourself time and again, little human, she said. Perhaps one day humans will teach the galaxy more than I ever imagined. Marcus allowed himself a small, genuine smile. That is our goal. Humans thrive on challenges, and we do not stop until we have met them. The ceremony continued with awards and honors, but the most significant recognition was not medals or titles. It was the transformation of perception. The Zalari had seen a human act with courage, wit, and honor beyond their expectations. They had seen determination triumph over danger, intellect triumph over fear, and small size never limit spirit. As the ceremony ended, Marcus and Lysera stood together on the observation platform overlooking the city. The lights of Zalara sparkled like stars mirrored below the twin moons, and a soft breeze carried the scent of alien flora. You know, Princess, Marcus said quietly. Humans often surprise others, but the greatest surprise is often ourselves. We learn our own limits when we face the impossible. Lysera's eyes glimmered. And humans have proven that your limits are higher than even you believe. I once thought you were small, fragile, amusing, but now I see strength in ways my people cannot imagine. Courage, ingenuity, loyalty. Humans embody them all. Marcus studied her thoughtfully. We are not perfect, but we endure. That is what defines us. Lysera smiled softly, a rare vulnerability in her expression. You have earned my respect, Captain Hale, and perhaps my friendship. Humans are strange and fascinating creatures. Small, yes, but powerful in ways the galaxy cannot yet measure. Marcus nodded. Then let our friendship be a bridge between our worlds. Humans and Zalari can learn from each other, protect each other, and perhaps achieve more together than alone. Lysera's grin returned, playful but warm. You are bold, clever, and persistent. I like that about humans. Very well. Let us see what the future holds. As the night deepened, Marcus walked along the bridges of Zalara, observing the city that he had helped save. Humans had arrived as strangers, small and underestimated, yet they were leaving an impression that could last for generations. The Zalari would speak of these days for centuries, the day humans proved that courage and ingenuity mattered more than size, the day they faced impossible odds and triumphed, the day they became not just visitors, but allies and friends. The city's citizens no longer whispered doubts. They had witnessed humanity's strength. The nobles no longer questioned. They had seen the human spirit in action. Even the Empress, who had begun skeptical, now recognized the worth of a species she had never fully understood. And Princess Lysera, once a playful teaser, now floated beside Marcus as a partner, a friend and an admirer. Together they represented the bond between species, a bond forged through challenge, trust, and respect. Marcus knew that humans were small in size, yes, but in spirit they were giants. Their ingenuity, courage, and resilience had saved a city, earned respect, and changed perceptions. The galaxy might be full of powerful empires, advanced technology, and endless dangers, but humans had a way of standing out, a way of proving that no challenge was too great when met with courage and intelligence. Lysera looked out over the city, her voice soft. You have shown us humans are capable of great things. Perhaps the galaxy will learn to respect your kind. Marcus smiled quietly. We do not act for recognition, Princess. We act because it is the right thing to do. But respect, that comes when others see our actions. Lysera nodded, a thoughtful look on her face. Then humans have earned that respect in abundance. The stars above twinkled, reflected in the glowing bridges and towers of Zalara. Humans had arrived as outsiders, underestimated and dismissed. Now they were remembered as saviors, as thinkers, as warriors of courage and ingenuity. The galaxy would never view them the same way again. Marcus stood silently, feeling the weight of history in the making. Humans had proven that spirit mattered more than size, courage more than strength, and intelligence more than technology. And in doing so, they had carved a place in the galaxy not through conquest but through honor, determination, and compassion. Princess Lysera's voice broke his thoughts. Captain Hale, will you stay here or will humans continue to journey through the stars? Marcus looked out at the endless sky. Humans will go wherever the challenge takes us. Wherever there is danger, injustice, or opportunity to do what is right, we will be there. And perhaps we will do it alongside new friends. Lysera smiled, her usual playful sparkle returning. Then I look forward to seeing what humans do next. Perhaps together we will face the universe. The night air was filled with promise, a quiet understanding between two species that had once seen each other as strangers. Now they stood united by trust, respect, and shared courage. The Zalari Empire had witnessed the truth. Humans were small in size, yes, but giants in spirit, and the galaxy would take notice. As Marcus looked toward the stars, he felt a sense of pride and purpose. Humans had survived impossible odds, adapted to alien worlds, and earned the admiration of one of the most advanced civilizations in the galaxy. The journey was far from over, but humanity's place among the stars was secure. Through courage, intelligence, and honor, they had proven that nothing underestimated them without consequence. The plaza below echoed with cheers, the city alive with gratitude and awe. Marcus and Lysera stood together, symbols of a bond that would shape the future. A future where humans were recognized not for their size, but for their spirit. The galaxy was vast and dangerous, full of unknowns and challenges, but humans had a way of standing tall in the face of danger. And Captain Marcus Hale, a small human among giants, had shown the universe that the human spirit was unstoppable, remarkable, and worthy of respect. Lysera looked at him, her expression a mixture of admiration and curiosity. You are clever, brave, and persistent, little human. Perhaps The galaxy is ready to learn the truth about humans. Marcus smiled. Then let them watch. We humans have much to show.